Hey y'all, welcome back again to another episode of the Unfiltered Dirty Air podcast. I'm Theme, your host.
Ryan.
Got Ryan.
Here. And Reynolds.
Yeah, I'll go fuck myself.
Yeah, Reynolds. Sorry, like I was getting ready to say, I pulled up Twitch and I was listening to I had our pod pulled up so I can see the comment section, and I heard myself start, because it's delayed, started hearing myself talk, so I was like, what the fuck's going on? Sorry, yeah, so me, Theme, Ryan, and Tommy's here. I think Better Place is going to join us here in a little bit. I'm in a bad mood because Madden 24 is complete garbage. So
it's awful.
Started my night off on a really bad note. But how are you guys doing? We haven't had one in, I don't know, a little while.
I think 9/13 was the last time we had one, so it's been over 10 days. Yeah, that's what the last Twitch stream info I had was Unfiltered Dirty Air 9/13. So that was well over. I mean, that was 14. That was 2 weeks ago. So yeah, it's been a minute. We had a pretty good podcast last time. Obviously, right now we don't have a whole lot of people on here, which sometimes is better. I'm sure as soon as people see that we're going live, they'll want to come in here, which, whatever, it's fine. But, yeah, it's been 2 weeks, which is crazy. I thought we had one earlier than that, but...
I thought we did, too. I guess we didn't, because we didn't do one after Bristol.
Yeah, no, we didn't, and like I said, unless we did one and I didn't do it on Twitch, the last thing I have is on 9/13, so... Better Place said he'd be on in a half hour, so we'll try and at least stretch it for a half hour so Better Place can come on here and talk about all the, whatever shit he wants to talk about. I'm sure he's got some shit he wants to talk about, but yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll just go with whatever we want to talk about here.
I don't care. Talk about anything.
We got at least 2 A² races to go through.
Yeah, we do. Bristol was okay. And then what, Texas?
Yeah.
Was Texas. Fun till it wasn't. Fuck that track. That track's garbage.
Texas
that track was fun until I got fucked by David Wright in turn 4. I mean, that was great.
Yeah, Texas was awful for me. I just ran out of talent. Died. Went 14 laps down, got back to 12 laps down, but still it was just not my night at Texas. I had a good Bristol race that got me into the round of 12, but yeah, now I'm pretty much fucked moving forward. I don't even know if I'll be able to make Talladega because I'm moving this weekend, so leaving Sunday morning, driving. Actually, Kenzie's coming Friday from Michigan, driving down here to Georgia, and then we're both packing up. Well, I'm packing, my stuff up, and then Sunday morning we'll be going to Michigan, and so we're going to be leaving very early Sunday morning, but it's still almost a 12-hour drive, so may or may not make Talladega, and then obviously Charlotte Roval. I have no chance in hell, so it was nice being in the round of 12, and we'll exit graciously there because that's probably as far as I'm gonna get.
That and Martinsville are the only two tracks, and maybe Dega, you never know, but those are the only couple tracks I see in my future of winning, and maybe Phoenix, but we'll see.
I don't see me winning anywhere.
Hey, you just gotta get points.
Dude, I've been in the top 5 and top 3, like during races and stuff like that, and something always fucking happens every damn time. Top 3 at Bristol, top 3 at Texas, and then I would have Texas. The reason why I fell at the end of that race, that was my fault. I took those 2 tires, which it didn't hurt me at all, but like I pushed it to the turn too hard, and I followed Seth right into the wall, which he didn't hit it nearly as hard as what I did, but I completely broke my car on the last freaking lap, P3. So,
yeah.
But and then I was P4, and that's when Emma got loose underneath me and doored me into the wall. So that fucked me up too, and I think I finished 12th. Shitty ending to a race.
Finished 17th, 12 laps down, so it was a terrible race for me. I don't know what the hell happened. I just ran out of talent. I didn't practice any, and then went in there thinking I could, finish in the top 10, and it didn't happen. So I mean, whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, Cody said the Stang is getting left behind. Yes, my Mustang is getting left behind, and Reynolds, fuck off. I'm not selling it to you for $1,500. Some bitches worth.
I've heard the stories of that thing. It ain't more than that.
That some bitch is worth at least 15 grand right now as it sits. So, no, hell fucking no. The plan is to once I start working, is to get it shipped to Michigan because. There's no way in hell I'm driving that sumbitch 12 hours. It's got almost 150,000 miles on it. It's very reliable if you want to run, if you want to go to Athens for 30 minutes and come back. It can manage that, but past about 35 minutes, I get a little nervous driving that thing more than about 30 minutes at a time. So the battery, I put a new radio in it, and the batteries, if you don't drive it every day, the battery goes dead after like 2 days. So yeah, nah, we're not driving that thing 12 hours all the way to Michigan. So hopefully, yeah, like Cody said, hopefully some family members around here will fire that sumbitch up every week or two, and make sure the motor still turns. But you'll definitely have to jump it off because the battery will be dead. I guarantee you that much. So, but yeah, the plan is to ship it to Michigan when we can. You can ship cars for relatively cheap nowadays. I mean, way cheaper than if I drove it all the way to Michigan and the damn, one of the rods come out of it or some shit. So we'll wait till we have some money and we'll ship it to Michigan. We'll see how it does in the snow. I think my Mustang has not seen but maybe 2 snows in its life. So maybe we can ship it up there for the winter time, and we'll let that thing eat in the snow and ice, and see if we can't tear a front porch down or something, or run over a couple pedestrians while we're at it. So we'll see what we can do. But yeah, for right now, the Mustang is staying in Georgia. Terrible, terrible news. I know it's breaking news for everyone. But the red Mustang is staying in Georgia for now, unfortunately, and I'm not selling it for $1,500. I might sell it for 15,000 if somebody wants it, for 15 grand. Hey, shoot me a DM.
Listen, I'm just saying, I've heard the stories you've told me about that thing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, other than the radio and the battery dying, I've only changed 2 things on it my entire life. The AC compressor went out on it one time, and I had to change that, and then the water pump pulley went bad on it once. That's the only 2 things I've ever had to change on that car, which, for all them Chevy lovers, that's pretty damn good for a Ford. I only had to change those 2 things. It's got 150,000 miles on it. I bought it brand new in 2014, I believe. It's a 13 model. But it's been a really reliable car. It's badass, but yeah, gonna have to leave it behind for a few months. So if anybody wants to see old Electra, as I named her years ago, it'll be sitting in my dad's driveway for the next probably 2 or 3 months. That really only applies to Cody and Tracy and people that are close to me. But if you're traveling in Georgia and you want to come see my Mustang, it'll be parked back in the back in my dad's driveway.
Yeah, considering you're gonna be up next to me, man.
Yeah, I'll be
Up my way.
be 15 minutes from Detroit, so I'll be up way up north. I've told most people, but there's still some people that don't know. But yeah, I'm moving this weekend to Michigan, going to stay with Kinsey. Plan is we're going to stay up there for hopefully no longer than about 9 or 10 months, and then we're basically just going to save a shitload of money while we're up there, and then we'll both make our way back down to Georgia after about 9 or 10 months. And then we'll be permanent residents back in Georgia, but had to do something different. So, the jobs just weren't. Nothing was really happening here, and had some opportunities up there, so had to just go ahead and take it. And luckily, she was able to drive down here and come get me, because otherwise, like I said, I would. Not only would I not have been able to. I could drive my Mustang up there, but I wouldn't have been able to fit. I might have been able to fit 3 pairs of jeans in the Mustang, because that's about the room you have in a Mustang. So I wouldn't have. I'd have to leave all my stuff behind. But yeah, we'll make it work, and hopefully I'll be able to keep racing, and may have a couple weeks where I'm getting my stuff set up, but should be fun. I'm excited for it, and excited for the road trip, and we'll see what happens. Cody, don't. Cody said, "Oh God, Cody wants Nick Fisher to hop on the podcast." No, we don't.
I'll tell you what, Ryan.
We're not a very good podcast, but we have standards.
We have standards. I think he's way behind anyway, so he's bringing up Madden.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
14 minutes into the pod now, so.
Yeah, well, I used the crappy new Madden. It does suck.
It is bad. It is bad.
I wanted to keep going with 23. That's what me and Jack Mulkey were trying to still keep going with 23, but everybody was like,
God, I wish you would have.
No, I've uninstalled it. I uninstalled it. Even Jack Mulkey was like, I uninstalled 23. Now I got 24. So here we are. We're living with y'all's choices. So
yeah, I should have done that.
I'd still be playing Madden 2023 with Stetson Bennett, fucking stud in Madden NFL 23, but 24 they set him back straight. they put him in his place.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. If you're thinking about actually paying $70 for that game, don't do it.
Luckily I didn't. I just got EA
Play
Pro, and I think that was like $10 a month or 14 or so. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't much. So The good thing with EA Play Pro is you get Madden NFL 24 for, again, like I said, $15, but you also can play the new soccer game. There's Starfield is an EA game. You can play Starfield.
Great game.
I haven't downloaded or hadn't played it, but a lot of people love that game. You can play Sims as an EA. I mean, there's so many damn games.
Yeah, there's a lot.
They're EA games that you can download and play. So to me, it was worth it just because not only could I play Madden NFL 24, but I could also play some other games if I felt like I, wanted to play them. So I think the PGA, I think the golf game is technically still an EA game. So you got a lot of options if you go that route. But yeah, I definitely would not recommend spending $70 on Madden NFL 24. Yeah, don't do that. If you got if you got EA Play Pro, sure, download it, whatever. But if you don't, don't waste your money on that shit game. I mean,
yeah, it's like we were talking before this. We're like, professional football players are literally saying it's the worst sports game, not worst football game, worst sports game of all time.
Yep, I literally watched a TikTok video with Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce on, like one of their podcasts that they did, and they literally said it was the worst sports game that they have ever played in their lives. They said that NBA games were better. They even said like NHL games were better. Like just every game was so much better because it was like. Those other games, you could actually compete. You could actually, it would be a close game. It'd be, you had a chance to make plays. And then in Madden NFL 24, it's just like, nah. Like, and again, maybe if you play on rookie, you probably have a different outlook than we do.
Yeah.
Because we play on all Madden. We play on the most difficult setting that the game sets you up with. And
it's like playing the 1985 Bears.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Every play.
It's insane. Yeah, they have like, I mean, you could have a defensive back that's 75 overall, and he's gonna run over 30 yards to your receiver and intercept it, or knock your receiver out, and it's like, how the hell does this how does this make sense? This is stupid.
Or a two-hand touch tackle knocks the football out of your receiver's hands. It's like, oh man, it's just stupid. Yeah, don't get me started on Madden 24. I'll fucking rant. That thing fucking blows.
We'll be here all night, but I mean,
I posted videos tonight. That's how pissed off I was about the freaking game.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Freaking. All right, so we're gonna go over. We already talked about Texas. It was blah. What was before that? Bristol. We missed Bristol, right?
Yeah, we had Bristol. Yeah.
I mean, Bristol's all right.
Yeah.
Got me into the playoffs, thanks to my stage points and stuff like that.
Yeah, me too.
I like Bristol though. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Bristol wasn't bad. Setup was decent. I just like Bristol a whole lot better than Texas, so it just it worked out a lot better than me. But Texas, I just made a mistake and lost it and overcorrected and hit the wall. Like I said, it was just lack of fucking talent. I mean, there's no way around it. It is what it is. But hopefully Talladega, hopefully I'll get back to Michigan in time to be able to log in and try to do something. I don't know. I may wreck some people along the way. Might as well. Got nothing to lose. So.
Fuck it, right?
Yeah, I mean, Charlotte Roval definitely not gonna. Yeah, Fiend's got 4 arms.
What the fuck?
That's cool.
Hey, we got some.
I stretched. I'm like, what in the fuck?
We got some magic tricks going on here on this podcast.
I don't know. Yeah, look at that shit. Whatever. My camera's fucked up. So whatever.
Yeah, he's in an infinitive mirror.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out if Tommy Reynolds is having the Ross Chastain effect. So,
What do you mean?
well, you took somebody out in your last one, like how Ross Chastain, all the wreck, like he wrecked somebody, and he's been like hasn't won nothing since. Well, you wrecked Emma, and you haven't won nothing since. What's going on with you?
Well, not only last race, all right. Well, we'll work our way backwards. Texas, I got fucked. I mean, Tom Sears was on something. I don't know what it was, but I don't know. Just for some reason, decided going into turn one, he was going to gas it up into my left rear. So that was fun. And then I saved it, and then that happened, and then out of turn four, it's like 5 to go. David Wright, because he can't drive, decided on new tires. He's going to full throttle it. So that was great. And then let's see, Bristol. I knew I was locked in after the first stage, and I was driving like shit. And I was like, all right, whatever, I'm fucking done. So I had enough of that shit. I'm trying to look at the schedule here because I don't even remember. Kansas wasn't bad. I finished second.
Me too.
I mean, there wasn't nothing I could do there. Darlington was whatever. I don't remember anything crazy happening there. Daytona, I mean, Daytona was fucking interesting because of the whole Aiden Norman thing. Watkins Glen, I smacked the fucking wall in the chicane. That was completely my fault. P2 or P3 at Indy Road. Seth fucked me at Michigan. I don't remember what else happened there. Got fucked by David Wright, surprise at Richmond. Pocono, I think I was 5th. New Hampshire, I could have won. I lagged out halfway through and then couldn't get back in. Oh no, I did get back in, but I was 3 laps down, so that was awesome. Atlanta's Atlanta, and then Chicago Street. So there's my excuses, if you want to call them, but yeah. So I don't know. I think it's just been a bunch of fucking whatever tracks for me. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of any of the previous tracks. Bristol, I'm not a fan of. Kansas was the last track I really kind of enjoyed. Texas I liked, but I wasn't as fast as Gaiman, and I knew that going into the race. And I knew he was going to be the one to beat, so I figured I could probably get a podium out of this, and then David Wright happened, so it's whatever.
It's
just been shit luck. So I tried taking it easy, and I tried not dumping people anymore. So I guess I'll just fuck off with that strategy now, because clearly nobody else fucking cares anymore. So
No, they don't.
Not even Fetter Place, after preaching about how he was God's saint and
he was freaking and wouldn't get out of my way at Texas. I was getting pissed.
I know he's gonna come on here and talk about it, but he dumped, I think it was Gaiman, or almost dumped him or something, just like throttled into him for some reason. And then the whole line power team was on one at fucking Texas. I mean, I don't know what happened in the 2-race span, or a 3-race span, but it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I tried getting around Fetter Place, and Texas, it's so hard to pass, hard to pass. So I was trying everything, and we had a log jam behind us, and I'm trying to get around Fetter Place, trying to get around him. Finally, Emma came up, and then that's when our first incident happened with me and her, which sent me all the way to the back, broke my car, and it's like I couldn't get around him at all, man. I was way faster at that point in time, saved my tires and everything, but yeah, you can't pass there. It's a one groove track. 100% it's a one groove track. Unless someone makes mistakes, it's the only way of getting around them.
I can't wait till that track gets blown up.
Fucking A, dude. It's a business. Why'd we get rid of freaking Fontana and keep Texas?
Even though, I mean, even if they didn't, like, the only thing they had to do was keep the same configuration. It worked for IndyCar and it worked for NASCAR. Literally, there are only two audiences that go to that track. It was great. IndyCar had four wide fucking racing the whole time. It was a great race for IndyCar every single time. Even NASCAR had great races. I can't even think of a bad. Oh no, I can, but I can think of like a handful of great races at Texas with the old configuration. So, I mean. It's
like think back to early 2000s. Well, you might be too young, but Ryan, think back to the early 2000s of like the races at Texas. You know, the dotted line Texas. You know, it just it was a great race. It was like, and now it's just it sucked to watch too. Like it was a boring race to watch.
It definitely wasn't good, and I mean I had the same fate that Ryan Blaney had. I think he was crab walking at one point, and I think I was crab walking at one point too. So both 12s had the same damn outcome.
Yeah, and it's weird because that package has actually been really good on those type of tracks this year. You know what I mean? And that was the worst.
Yeah, it was pretty awful. Like I said,
with that,
even
like
our
the mile
race, like
out of all
terrible.
the mile and a half tracks, I think that was the worst mile and a half race that we've raced all year, like track wise. Like everything else has been fun, like
just
really good actually.
Just didn't even feel like a mile and a half. It just felt like a big ass short track, honestly. Like you really couldn't pass unless the person in front of you went into turn 1 and 2 and just went way high because they got tight, and you lifted. You could get up under them, but that was really the only way you could pass, other than just moving somebody out of the way, which, you know, we had some of that too, unfortunately. But
yes, we did.
Yeah, it was just it was a rough race overall, but I mean, it is what it is. That's Texas for you, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll get rid of it one day, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I don't think they ever will. Yeah, I think Texas has a big market, I think.
Yeah.
So, they need to do something with that fucking track, though.
They do. Whether they turn it into another Atlanta or knock 1 and 2 down and make it flat or something, I don't know. Like they
knock 1 and 2 is the issue.
Yeah,
like I'm okay with how 3 and 4 races. I'm all right with that. 3 and 4 is not a big issue to me. Burp that throttle, get back in the throttle, let her right up to the wall. I'm fine with that. That's like mile and a half ish racing anyway. 1 and 2, what the fuck? Like the dumbest turn at any mile and a half.
Yeah, you had to lift for like 30 seconds before you could get back in the gas if you wanted to stay on the bottom, and if you went to the top, then everybody's just gonna roll past you on the bottom. So yeah, it was very weird. But again, that's what Texas is. You just 1 and 2. You have to. I mean, I was actually using the brake sometimes going into 1 and 2, just trying to keep it on the bottom, and it's like, why?
Yep.
Why am I using the brake? This is a mile and a half track. Like, you don't really use the brake at Charlotte. You don't. I mean, obviously Atlanta's a little bit different now, but like, still, like even when Atlanta was the old school Atlanta, you didn't use the brake. You just lifted, to get the car set, and you would floor it again in 1 and 2, and same in 3 and 4. But Texas is just like, no, 1 and 2, you're gonna damn hit the brakes like you're going into a damn short track, and then when it finally sets halfway through the corner, you'll get back in the gas, and it's like, what the hell? It doesn't make any sense. Like,
yeah, you get back in the gas, and if you miss your apex by an inch, you lose your right rear tire. It's good.
You're pushing into the wall, or you're pushing up into somebody that's trying to run the outside. That the outside line sucks in 1 and 2. So it's like, what are you supposed to do? Like, and I'm sure the NASCAR drivers probably feel the same way. Like, what the hell? What the hell are we supposed to do? Like, we can't run the high side. We can run middle, or we can run low, but we can't pass anybody. Like,
well, that's what I mean. They were even saying that. Like, we're just waiting for the the high groove, the come in. You know, they were saying it on the radio, like take Denny Hamlin there when he was trying to get around Bubba. He couldn't pass Bubba.
Yeah.
He was faster than him at one point, but it just he got bottlenecked behind him and couldn't get around him. Stuck behind him. Just I make it. You gotta have 2 grooves somewhere. You know, I mean, shit.
Yeah, I mean, short tracks, you kind of expect it to be 1 lane racing, especially places like Martinsville, and I mean, honestly, Bristol's you can make 2 lanes work. It's hard, but you know, you can make 2 lanes work. Richmond, you can kind of make 2 lanes work. It's not great, but you know, Martinsville definitely, obviously, you know, 1 lane track, but I don't know. It was crazy to have Texas, and then it's like, oh, we gotta be a 1 lane track at 1.5 miles. Like, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I think you guys can kind of fucking see it. I mean, it's impossible to pass in fucking any series. I mean, like it's fucking horrible.
Yeah. It's a garbage track now. Well, I mean, we do get freaking Las Vegas 1.5 miles, which would be fun. That's coming up, and then Homestead without the HTL setup. Sorry, but I'm glad we're racing the iRacing setup instead of that setup at Homestead.
Yeah,
what happened with that?
It was pretty bad.
It was a dump truck with an oversized sled on the front of it.
I practiced, and when I went for my first lap of practice, I went into 1 and 2, turned it to the left, let off the gas, and the car just went whoof straight up into the wall. I mean,
bad.
It was insane. I mean, I had to lift almost after the start finish line just to get the car to turn into 1 and 2. Even running the high side, like, you know, normally with Homestead you can
high side's where it's at.
Yeah, you can run the high side, but that race, high side was not where you wanted to be. You had to back the corner up, like, I'm talking back the corner way the hell up in 1 and 2, run the bottom, get that apex, and get off the corner and coming out of 2. But the high side, nah, there was no high side in that race that we ran.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
I jumped on and ran the iRacing setup, and I was half a second faster. So
yeah,
from what I was running in that practice. So yeah.
Sometimes
on that high side, the high side, that's what I've always ran at Homestead. Was the high side Homestead though. So
yeah,
I don't know.
That's usually where I'm at too, but it was not fast in that race. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But
that's good.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is what it is.
Let's go ahead and look at our upcoming schedule here. So round out the round of 12. Well, we got Talladega this Sunday, which is anybody's race. I mean, I could fucking win that. I won't. I'll probably finish second again in another super speedway.
I guarantee you, none of us in here are fucking winning that race.
Doubt it. I finished second at super speedways. That's my curse. Always second. Charlotte Roval, I'll be competitive in that 5th to 8th range for 10 laps, and then I'll fuck my race up like I always do. And then and then we get actually 3 good tracks. Like I said, that Homestead race that I did that was just a bad setup. But Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville, that's actually a really good set of races for the round of 8.
Me personally, I hate Vegas. I cannot seem to find speed there. Like I can follow whoever the fuck it is around for 900 laps, but I can't pass. I don't know why. It's not like a track thing, because the track seems to be fine for everybody else. It's just me. I just suck.
Yeah, I love Vegas. It's one of my favorite tracks to race. I like it. I like Vegas on older tires. I'm not fast on like new tires in Vegas, but you give me some older tires that I've saved, and that's usually when I come in at Vegas.
Yeah.
All right, I'm here.
There he is.
Holy hell! I heard a little bit. For some reason, I can't drive down the highway and figure out why my Twitch stream was skipping, but I got to hear a little bit of what y'all were talking about, just not most of it.
Yeah, we just been shooting the shit for most part. I mean, we ain't talking nothing in particular. Talked about Madden a little bit. Talked about A Squared a little bit. Talked about Ryan moving a little bit.
Yeah, Ryan, going to Detroit, you better have a firearm. I'm going up there, I hear.
Yeah, I'll make sure I got one. We'll see what we can do.
Let's see.
I was telling everybody how I couldn't get the fuck around you at Texas, and you slow me up for that first stage.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Get out of
Who,
here.
me?
There's only a train of like 9 cars.
Yeah, but literally, I was like, "Fetter place, get the fuck out the way!" Like 2 laps later, is when Emma took me out. I'm like, "Oh my god."
No, actually, no, you are right now that I think about it. Here we go. Yeah, man, Texas was exciting.
It was good with the bad there, I guess. It was fun at some points, and it was shitty at the others.
So, again, tinfoil hat. Me and this damn 41 car. This guy, I don't know if he is purposely always in front of me or we just happen to find each other on the racetrack, but he aero blocks the shit out of me for like the past 2 races. He's been in front of me.
That's
at
Patrick, ain't it?
Bristol. He was in
Patrick?
front of
Yeah.
me at Texas. I'm like, Jesus, man, will you go away? Like, I don't know where you've been all season, but I need you. This is the moment where I need you to go away.
He's like that in the short track world too. It's just that hold the line, and oh crap, that's the racing line. And even with a tenth better speed, sometimes you're just like, I gotta find a clean way around this guy.
But the crazy thing is he won't ruin you. He just Ryan Newmans you.
Yeah,
the entire way around. It's just hard to pass.
He literally found the way to be in front of me the entire race or the entire first stage, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to move you because I've literally not moved anyone all season. but now I'm seriously considering it. Like, maybe I should just give you a little, hey man, get the hell up out of the way. But
well, and the way that race was playing out, you couldn't go and try and like change your lane on entry to get better exit to get a run on the next straightaway, because you have another line of cars where they're just going to take advantage of the lane change and fill a hole, and then now you've set yourself up and you're losing 3 or 4 spots out of that just to pass one.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys already talked about your race there.
Yeah, we did. You can talk about yours.
Mine was I actually didn't realize this. So I had prepared for this race. I had done a bunch of practice, and I'm like, you know what, this is going to be it. I know I have speed here. Let's see what happens. And I think I'm 6 laps in, and I just hammer the outside. I hammered the wall out of 4, and I didn't realize it because my steering wasn't off. I didn't realize that I had damage. So we get about 15 laps in, and I start pushing real bad. And I was pushing hard. Like, I'm like, this is not normal. What is happening? And we go, stage break, and I go down pit road, and I have a minute of optional. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, I did not expect a minute of optional. But then, the car gets fixed and it's, I'm screaming right along. But I think for me, the issues that I'm having now is, I'm not getting stage points. If I'm not mistaken, I didn't get any stage points on stage 1.
You're right in front of me.
Yeah, so, like I said before, you don't advance if you don't win, and you don't advance if you don't get stage points. So, I finished, where did I finish? 2nd. It's still not that good. I mean, considering how many stage points I missed out on.
You broke even almost.
Right. So, I finished 2nd, and normally that is a good finish, and I'm happy with that finish, but I didn't execute during the race. And that's what I took home from Texas, is that, I missed an opportunity where I had speed, I had pace, and I didn't execute. So now I'm looking at Talladega, which anybody who knows me knows I despise super speedways with a passion. And I mean, we'll see what happens there, but with Daniel and Gaiman and Emma, all at the Charlotte Road Course, I mean, that
Yeah.
one's pretty much a lock too. So, I'm kind of battling just to stay in the 8 at the moment.
Give me an idea of what you're talking about, because I was curious, because you did finish second in that race, right?
Right.
You got 35 points, and you're sitting 5th in the playoff points right now,
Right.
and you finished second in this race. That shows you how much points actually matter. I mean, Reynolds finished behind you in the race. He's sitting 4th. Seth finished behind you. He's sitting 3rd. Michelle finished behind you. He's in 2nd. So it's like, but they were all up there, for multiple stage points. The stage points is almost sometimes more important than where you actually finish the race at, unless you win. You know what I mean?
That's how it was in the regular season when we had the heats, and those points start adding up. You get 6 or 7, and that saves your day on the back end when something weird happens in that mid season where we're having a little bit of racecraft issues. The heats were saving guys just to pad a 5 or 6 point on there.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, it's no longer, especially with all these stage races in the postseason, in the playoffs, everything counts. At this point, you can't settle for, what I did, not scoring well in the stages, but finishing good. Now it's all about racking the points all race long and, continuing to get those points. Because if you don't, you're going to be like I am, where regular season champion, I'm solid on points in the regular season, doing very well. You get to postseason, I'm now sitting 5th.
You can blame Ryan for that.
I do. I blame Ryan for everything.
Yeah, that's fine.
Next year you'll have a better buffer if you do what you did this year. This year Ryan said, "Nuh-uh, round 2, screw everyone."
Yep.
Well, I mean, honestly, it didn't hurt. I mean, I guess it kind of hurt me a little bit, but it didn't hurt me as bad as it did, say, Reynolds, where you have 5 wins on the season, you show up in the playoffs and, you've been equalized. Everyone is equalized. So, for the people that win a lot of races, it really, kind of put one on them. But as far as the playoffs go, I said it before, man. If you don't execute and you don't win races, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah. So back on your damage stuff. Have you guys installed a button for the spotter to tell you, or the crew chief to tell you the damage you have?
I just get told I have wheel damage or some shit like that.
So there's a way, like now I have it mapped on my wheel that like at any time during the race you can press it and it says, nope, car looks good, let's keep going, or you've got damage on your right side, and so it gives you a hint as to, okay, something is different. I hit something, I didn't think I hit it that hard, but then it tells you, it's like, hey, we got a little crinkle on the right rear. That's what's causing some issue.
Huh, shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't. Crew chief doesn't really say anything. I mean, I only know I have damage whenever my wheel is sitting to the side going down the straightaway.
Yeah. This came with the iRacing Season 4 update.
Oh, really? Or unless
it's in the iRacing commands.
Unless Emma's spotter, goes through Emma, because I have her spotter muted. I don't like all that conversation in my ear while I'm racing.
Yeah. So, no, you just go into, it's just a basic control now. I think it's either in options where like you have your like you can checkbox it, or it's in the control area. But yeah, it's just you just set a map to it, and sometimes you'll hit it and you've hit something really hard, or someone hit you really hard, and he'll yell at you. He's like, "We got damage on the front end." He'll be like, okay, we got a fast repair. Did you not read that in the info sheet too? Like, we're all right.
Oh
but
my goodness.
it gives you that extra little bit of information a bit instead of guessing. You're like, okay, yeah, there's something a little wrong out there.
So
Yeah.
Ryan, what happened to you, man? I was kind of watching the broadcast, seen you. Did you get loose at a 4?
Yeah, I got loose out of 4. I tried to correct it, and
That was the second time. The first time you were loose out of 2.
yeah, first time I got loose out of 2, and I caused the first caution. Well, I didn't technically cause it, but I was involved in it, and that was
You were the instigator.
Yeah, I was who started it. And then that was my first fast repair because I had somebody come in there full speed and hit me in the left front or right front. I can't remember. I think it was left front. Just typical people just don't check up. I mean, we are not Saturday Night Showdown. We do not race it back to the line. If you see smoke, you should be slowing down as fast as you possibly can. And unfortunately, I had somebody behind me that thought that they were going to be cold trickle and full throttle it through the wreck, and I would have been fine, honestly. I mean, I did have some front end damage, but it wasn't bad. But when I spun back up, I was spinning up into the track and I held my brakes. I was up on the top, and then somebody just come in full speed and just hit me right on my left front tire, and then I couldn't even go. I had to tow. It wouldn't even, the car wouldn't even go. So towed it back to pit road. I was already 2 laps down. Took my fast repair. This is literally lap 2. And then I get back on the track, and the car was, I don't think it was fully fixed, even though it took the fast repair. It just still didn't feel right. I was slow.
I don't
2
think it
laps
does.
down. Yeah.
Honestly, I don't think it does. I don't think it fixes everything, because there's me as well. I know a bunch of times where I went down pit road and even sat there, didn't even use my fast repair, and the car still fell off. It's like it doesn't fix every single thing.
Yeah, I think now they've adjusted. Okay, it'll fix as much as it can. Like, if you're not using a fast repair, it'll fix as much as it can, but it will have like a 5%, BOP hit on your car, because that's what it would do in the real world. So you can't get it back to 100%. Fast repairs, I think, are pure resets back to 100%. And then if you'd been driving with some damage for a second, you may feel the difference because you're not used to a fresh car versus a 95% car.
Is that an amendment in the next season's rule book? Somehow there needs to be something about that, where if you're not actively slowing down for a caution and you pile into a wreck already, where you had adamant time to slow down, that needs to be a penalty, because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, so
Fairfax issue last week. That happened to us. I thought I got into back. I thought we did when I got in the back of you at Texas, but actually you slowed up, I slowed up, and then I can't remember who it was, but someone plowed into the back of me, which then plowed into the back of you. And when that happened, it shot me to the right and put me in the wall. Like, you and me were slowing down in plenty of time.
Checking. I remember that because I ended up hitting the Discord push to talk instead of iRacing, because I was going to say, sorry, man, I was checking up for whoever was in front of me.
Yeah, and I checked up behind you, but and then 2 car lengths behind us I got ass packed and then bounced into you and then hit into the wall. Like, that's the shit that needs to stop. It happens every week.
Yeah, so to answer your question, the announcement is the A squared rulebook is officially locked in. We've made all of our votes and amendments. We're only waiting on the real world schedule to come out so that we can fill in the rest of our schedule and make sure it lines up where we need to make breaks or little small changes. But the A squared rule book for everything from how the races are formatted to the teams to penalties is all locked in. And to answer your question on a penalty for drivers not taking care of their race car with a wreck in front of them, there is language in there. While it's not directly pointed at ARCA braking, it's a line that was applied for what Reynolds did at, I forget, where he just ran someone over under caution by not paying attention. No intentional nature to it, but just plowed into the back of someone. I think he hit Seth.
No, I think it was the other way around. I think Seth.
The other way around. That's right.
Around.
Yeah. Seth hit Reynolds. That's right.
Yeah.
So the language is any egregious contact under caution that disadvantages another driver. So in that case, the caution has come out, and you have and you still pile into a wreck you are a half a straightaway away from, then that can then be levied at you, and it's a points penalty. I forget if it's a 5 or a 10, but also we can use it as if the incident is now over, the person that caused the caution obviously gets their little strike mark, 1 of 5, for causing the caution. But then if you are, it cautions out, the incident is over, and then you are part of a secondary incident from coming from behind it, we can give you an at-fault incident as well, because you had plenty of time to avoid. And I want to throw this to y'all. Do you guys think this is just a lack of care for the car, or is it a target fixation thing that happens when wrecks occur?
No, I think, me personally, what I think it is we run Saturday nights trucks. Most everybody that run, well, not most everybody, but a lot of people that run on Sunday nights also run Saturday nights in SNS. Not everybody, but I run SNS. David Wright runs SNS. I mean, there's a lot of people that run it. Feemster runs it when he can. I mean, but I think honestly, it's that mentality of last night what I did when somebody said, "Hey, it's a caution, race it back to the line," and I'll be the first to admit on Saturday night, I missed the start because I was hanging out with my family. Again, like I said, I'm moving.
Shame on you.
Yeah, I know. Shame on me. I was hanging out with my family because I'm not going to see them for the next 9 months, and I missed the start. So I came back. I was 2 laps down or a lap down or something, and we were battling whatever, and we got to a point where I was 1 lap down and Zach McBride was 1 lap down right in front of me. He was probably half a tenth in front of me, and I saw the wreck. And I'll be the first to tell y'all, I never lifted. I wasn't about to lift. I was not going to lift. And that's one of the things that I wish in the off season we could change, with the whole racing back to the line. I know they're trying to be unique with SNS. I get it. But that's the kind of mindset I have as a driver, because I know if I race my ass off through this wreck, I don't give a shit about anybody else. I don't care if I hit anybody else. I got to get past Zach McBride before we get back to the line so that I can get my lucky dog and he doesn't. And it worked out perfectly for me because Zach McBride checked up and I didn't. I full sent that 12 truck through that wreck literally like Cold Trickle in Days of Thunder. I never lifted. I didn't care if I hit anybody. I gave no shits because in my mind I knew I have got to beat Zach McBride back to the line. And sometimes I think that when you have that happen on Saturday and then you go to Sunday, I think a lot of people panic and they see a wreck and they're like, "Oh God, I gotta go." When it's really you don't have to go because the caution's going to come out immediately as soon as it's unsafe. Then either Kent with eye in the sky or one of the admins, they're going to throw the caution. But it's hard. I mean, we're human beings. We're creatures of habit, exactly. So if on Saturday night in your mind you're saying, "I'm going, I gotta go," and then on Sunday night you have to try and change that to be like, oh, there's a wreck, I need to slow down. Me included, I have a hard time even on Sunday nights after running SNS, because SNS is at 10 o'clock at night. A squared 7 o'clock the next day. It's hard sometimes to get that through your mind. Like, no, we're not racing it back to the line. Slow the fuck down. Like, if you see smoke,
Yeah.
slow down. But
What do you
some
think, Fiend?
people just don't care.
I can see where Ryan's saying, coming from, stuff like that. That could actually be a factor. I just think I think the majority of it is people just not paying attention. Like, for some reason, it seems like when you get into those situations, like, they're just so fucking oblivious of what's going on in front of them. Like they don't have, like, for some reason that smoke's not turned on, or they can't see a car spinning, or or they, for some reason, they can't see when, oh shit, those two cars in front of me are getting really close to me. I wonder if they're on their brakes, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
So I know
it's
some
almost
of
like
it
they
could
just
be-
don't. It doesn't click for them.
So I know there are graphical issues that can, like you said, no smoke and stuff like that for people that have a lower graphic setting. There is one where it's like it doesn't render cars out past a certain distance just because that's how they have their graphic settings. But even then, most of these people are running in 2-3 seconds after the caution has come out. iRacing is telling you caution is out.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, is like, do you do this in the official races? Like when you go just race with the public? It's like, because there, the caution comes out, you're not gaining or losing any positions, whether you hit the wreck or not, if you keep going straight. And so, like, protect your car. It was something that we discussed for the A Squared admins, was if we institute the iRacing cautions, is that gonna hurt or help the product? And one of the helps was, well, when iRacing throws the immediate caution, you don't have to wait and guess whether the admin is gonna throw the caution. There would be fewer times of, I'm just gonna stay in it until the caution comes out, and now I've collected myself in this wreck. And so there's those balancing acts, and I think it's just a matter of, like Ryan was saying, of, this is what is expected. Please take care of each other and take care of your car.
Well,
Yeah.
another thing that I know, me personally, I've done since the start of the season, like you take me in the 12 car back, let's say race 8 of 36 back at the beginning of the season. If I saw smoke, I'm lifting. I'm backing out. I'm lifting. I know that whether it's a little bit of a lag from somebody that threw some smoke on the track, or two cars made contact, I'm lifting. You get to this point in the season, I see smoke, I ain't lifting. You can't lift. I mean, there's so much at stake out there on the track that, especially for somebody like me who's, mid-pack at best. If I'm up there running 8th and I see somebody in front of me throw smoke, I'm staying in it, and I'm going to hope that they're not wrecking. And if they are wrecking, I'm going to try and avoid them. But, race 8, where points aren't as big of a deal, I think you see smoke, and like I said, me personally, I'm going to back out. Now, no. But does that, I'm not saying, I mean, some of these people come into a wreck 3 seconds after it's happened. Is exactly what happened to me at Texas. I mean, I was sideways for half the corner. And yes,
Yep.
I did wash up the track because that's how it worked. I mean, I got hit. I think it was me and Seth that maybe got together. I don't remember. But me and Seth got together, and I got loose. And when I got loose, it kind of overcorrected back up into the track, and then I was up there in the track. But I held my brakes. I stayed on the outside. And then 2 seconds later, I get hit in the left front.
Yeah.
I was sitting there for half a second when I've been there for way longer than I should be to get hit in the left front at 180 miles an hour. That's
Yeah,
Kind of
that one would have fell under the new rules of you're getting something for that. Ryan for causing the caution, the person that came in later for being involved when they didn't, because as you were spinning sideways and holding the brake and locking it down, one of the cars that was behind you missed you on the inside, and he had slowed down and got to the apron where the open lane was, and then it was the next car behind him that target fixated at a lot more speed than the other guy and sent you in the whirlybird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it ruined
Yeah.
my race, but yeah, I mean, it's.
I got a question. How the fuck do we go from, like, under cautions, people not being able to hold their brakes and running into people that are actually taking their time getting through a caution, to people holding their fucking brakes and people just blowing into them while they're holding their brakes?
It's a matter of who's involved. When Ryan or Fetter Place are involved, do they know, okay, I just got to get this thing stopped as safe as possible? And then you have the people that had been involved in wrecks earlier this season that don't do that because they're either trying to save it for no reason, or or their temper has taken over and they're taking everyone with them.
Yeah. Yeah, we got bad tempers. I mean, we do. It's. I mean, I've shown my temper a couple times before too, but.
And that was another conversation for the future. Is like, do we take away the fast repairs to force the drivers into taking care of their vehicles? Well, on both sides of the coin, if you take away the fast repairs, now you're in control of what happens to your vehicle going forward. But you are not in control of an idiot behind you that cares not about your car. So, we had 2 incidents in Texas where people were late to the party and still involved in the wreck, and it would have ruined Ryan's day. He would have been stuck on pit road for the next 15 to 20 minutes trying to get his rear end reattached to his car. There was one later where someone just straight T-boned in a couple seconds late, so that would have ruined the day. Both of them still had fast repairs, so they both took no they took no consequence other than losing that safety net. So both sides of the coins were discussed, and we erred on the side of giving someone a break where they were a consequence of someone else's lack of respect or care or caution.
So, well, for anyone that, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm just gonna.
All right, hey, I gotta head out, guys.
All right,
sorry.
See
you guys continue. Have a good night.
Later.
See you, buddy.
Later.
So, with anybody that has any input or questions about the whole 1 versus 0 fast repair thing, let me tell you a story. I ran an HTL Monday night at Pocono. All right. We had like 36 cars on track. We had 0 fast repairs. HTL does 0 fast repairs except for on super speedways, which is something that I actually was thinking about implementing for A Squared next year. Was 0 on every track other than super speedways, so Daytona, Talladega, Atlanta. You'd have 1. That Pocono race was a fucking disaster. So I would argue with anyone in the chat or anyone that wants to talk to me after this podcast that, 0 fast repairs will clean up the racing. Well, it sure as hell didn't fucking clean up the racing Monday night in HDL. I'll tell you, it was a nightmare. We actually went so long that it almost turned dark. That's how long we raced. We started at 8:15 maybe. I could be wrong with that. But we started at 8:15. That race finished at almost midnight. That's how long that race took. And they did have the sun acceleration at 2 times, whatever. But it was damn daylight when we started that race. We finished the race and the sun was setting. Actually, some drivers even said that I can't hardly see anything on this track. And there were 0 fast repairs. So I'm telling you, just from experience, from what I've seen in other leagues, 1 fast repair versus 0 fast repairs it doesn't really change too much, other than the fact that if something stupid happens to you that is outside of your control, you kind of get a freebie, you know. But just saying, oh, well, you just set it at 0, everything will be fine. Everybody will race good. Everything will be good. You'll have green. No, it doesn't always work that way. And again, yeah, the Pocono race at HTL may have been an offset, may have been something that you can't really count in the statistical, but it happened. It was a caution fest. We were wrecking left and right. We went from daytime to almost complete darkness at Pocono, and no one had fast repairs, but we were all still out there, you know, doing our thing. And so a lot of people, that's like their main defense is like, well, 0 fast repairs will clean up the racing and everybody will be fine. That's
Hey,
that's not always true. I'm just saying that's not always true.
yeah, it goes to the comment, like you said, oh, 0 cleans everything up, makes everyone respect their cars. Like, not really. It's more the culture, expectation, and product that you put forth that applies. We've seen it in A squared, where it's like if we have a little bit more, if we're less demanding of you guys clean it the f up, or this is gonna, then when you almost attack them, they just say, well, I'm just gonna put my foot to the floor. I don't care what people do in front of me or behind me or whatever. I'm on track, you're not on track. Like, this is how I'm going. Versus we've gone a little bit more to like, hey, let's take care of each other, get the green flags rolling, and you got to take care of each other, and then you can battle where you guys fall out at. That saves the dive bomb corner 1 lap 1 on fresh tires versus old tires and all that. It's like, look, just take care of each other and then race.
I don't. Let me go back to what I was gonna say before. Okay, so people going late into crashes. I think it's a little bit of everything. I mean, I think it's target fixation. Like, you see a car crashing, you stare at that car, and then before you know it, you're into that car. I also think it's a lack of awareness. Some people have zero awareness for who else is next to them on that racetrack. So I think whenever they see an accident, I don't see it. I also believe that it's probably has something to do with, what Ryan was saying. Oh, there's a crash. Let me go full speed, knowing that they aren't the best at getting away. Hey, I've done this 15 times before and I've smashed into another car this 15 times. Nothing goes off in their brain saying, hey, I'm going to smash into this fucking car, so maybe I should probably slow down this time, try something new. So that sort of stuff, I think is a problem. And, for guys like me who, have high force feedback, it doesn't feel very good either. I mean, I've got to let go of the steering wheel because I don't trust that somebody's not going to come in there at 190 mile an hour and slam right into the fucking wheel.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes to the fast repair deal, I think it has to deal with your driver pool, your driver talent. I'm not an advocate for no fast repairs, but I run in some leagues that do have it. And yeah, you'll have a shitty couple of races until the people who crash a lot get tired of fucking crashing and they get tired of fucking up and not being able to race. And those people leave. That's what they mean by it cleans up the race. And they don't mean immediately. They mean during the season, the people that cause the accidents, they get tired of being in those accidents and sitting on pit road for 9 minutes. And so I don't, even though I understand exactly where you guys are coming from, I don't think it's meant to be a fast fix. I think it's more or less you frustrate the people who are causing all the accidents as they frustrate you for wrecking you. The fast repair just gives them a do-over. Oh, I didn't kill him this time? Bet. I get one more shot at it. And generally, the people who use that fast repair, yeah, there's some people like me who get caught up. Ryan, you get caught up in some shit. Fiend gets caught up. A lot of us get caught up. But there are quite a few who, well, hey, I got a fast repair in the bank. I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna move this asshole out of the way. And they do. They get wrecked and they go, I got a fast repair, tow back. It's all good.
Yeah, it's the the world of lack of accountability that, I mean,
Right.
to take it into the real world, that has, grown and festered, and some people are like, well, that's how it is, so that's how it is. And some people are like, can we go back to the old days where you get one life, and if you screw it up, well, that life's over.
Right. And like Ryan was saying about HTO, I'm gonna not bash them this time because I know I like to talk a lot of shit about my 2 races I had over there that were wreck fests. But it really is. So, and I don't mean this in the worst way. I'm just direct, and it really is your talent. It's the talent in your field that make this either work or not work. I race in a Monday night league. Strength of field 4,500. No fast repair. People get wrecked. People get upset. But they've been doing this for a long time. No fast repairs. People who come into this league, they know there's no fast repairs, so you don't act like a dumbass, or you're not going to be racing very long. There's quite a few others. I raced on a Thursday night league who did the same thing. I mean, because all in the effort of getting the people who cause the accidents out, instead of saying, oh, it's okay, we'll give you a do-over. No, hey, you're an idiot. You just wrecked this guy because he was in your way. Instead of finding a way around him, you just moved him out of the way and called it a day. Use your fast repair, and now you're, winning the race. So I'm not a huge advocate for no fast repairs or for them, but I completely understand both sides.
Yeah, it's a balance coin. I think some of it has to do with the mindset of the driver, and then the others how the admins build their culture and then communicate what their expectation of the culture is. And I think we've here, at least in the A squared, we've gotten better at it, and we've seen fewer nutty incidents and more actual racing incidents where something occurred naturally. So I think we're in the right way. Obviously, the 24 rule book levies a little bit more consequence to drivers that are the causes or the issues, and so versus taking the penalty out on everyone involved in the wreck, it now directly levies penalty, and that person then is going to get frustrated with I keep losing points because of stuff I'm responsible for. It's a very driver centric rule book that's going to be like, look, the rule book will apply to you and it applies to everyone, but it will only be thrown at you when you deserve it, and you decide when you go into the rule book.
Well, I think we figured this out the last podcast, and that is what Ryan said about Reynolds, and that is some people will drive how they feel like driving, and your rule book and points and whatnot are not going to deter those certain people from driving how they want. I think what we need to do is I'm all for harsher penalties. I mean, I've been saying it all season long. I mean, there's been quite a few times where even I said I probably deserved a penalty for some shit, even though it was an accident. But some people you're not going to change, and it doesn't matter if they have negative points, 5 races in. If you don't find a way to curb that person's mentality of wrecking people, he's just going to keep doing it.
Yeah, and
as long as he has a ride, he don't give a shit.
Yeah, and we've instituted and written in clauses that allow the admins to remove a problem, for cause. It has to be for cause, but when they are just completely ignoring the rules, the penalties apply to them, and they don't care because of whatever the mentality is. The admins can make a unanimous ruling and be like, "Look, we're gonna mutually agree to part ways with a firmer boot coming from the admin side."
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be something that's going to grab their attention. 5 points here, 1 point there. If I win the race, I don't really give a shit about that 5 points.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it really needs to be something that curbs, that actually gets your attention. If I caused an accident that took out, 4 different vehicles or 4 different drivers who were in line to win this race, I expect a very harsh penalty. Something that's really going to get a hold of me and make me think, hey, maybe I shouldn't make that stupid ass move again.
Yeah, we made the rule book to be very transparent. So your action, whatever your action is, you could go. We don't even have to tell you what the penalty is. You can go read it. Versus like the real world NASCAR, you have to sit and wait for them to review, and then it's unknown as to how severe your penalty is going to be because there's no written down. If you do this, you get this. The way that the 24 book is written. You do this, this is what happens, and then it's a sliding scale as to each time you continue to do those things. As to like at fault incident, at fault caution. Now there are the ones where it's like that was stupid. Here is the exact harsher penalty that is going to be levied. Take intentional wrecking or egregious, contact under caution. Those ones are all driver error through disregard, and those ones have those heavier penalties attached to them versus just racing incidents where you're going to get that buffer of like, okay, you're running out of your freebies. You got 36 races and you got 5 freebies, whether you use them accidentally or because you raced in over your head a little bit, that's up to the driver.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think Theme kind of said it. It's just the mentality. It's just, what sort of driver are you? I check for a lot of stuff. That was why Theme and I, played bumper tag for a little bit, Texas, because I'm checking up. Not everyone has that same mentality. I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else. I'm just saying that my first thought whenever I see smoke is not to put it to the floorboard and go.
Yeah.
It is, oh shit, I need to protect what I'm doing here. And I check. And, I guess it's just a driver mentality. Ryan said, like he said, if he drives in mid pack and he stays in it, he's liable to gain a few spots. And that's true, but I'm not willing to risk my result, as we've seen. I happen to luck into a second, but I'm not willing to lose, to risk that finish for an extra spot on the racetrack on lap, 50. I'm just not. What do you think, Theme? You ran pretty good at Texas, though, for real.
Yeah, I was up there for a little while. I'm just listening, enjoying the podcast. I decided to get back on because I'm gonna be busy tomorrow night, so I gotta play this fucking football game. So.
Is that the game you keep skipping or not doing?
Yeah,
I'm doing it.
Hey, restarting.
Yeah, I think him and Ken have restarted like 86 times this season, and we're only in week 5.
Don't levy that over here. That's old Mulkey and whoever's got the Ravens.
I have the Ravens.
Yeah,
but I have only legit restarted one time. Every time that you get out of the game,
yeah,
and then rejoin in progress, it counts as a restart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had my Taiwan effect over here for a few of mine, where you're like, all right, we're going good. I'm up 13. Blech. Like, son of a bitch. Like, no, I was in such a good place, momentum on my side, had control of the game. Got to do it all over again.
I've been watching your all's thread on this Madden, and I was literally almost ready to buy this game because I haven't played a Madden since I think 95. Like, I haven't played a Madden in a very long time. I was very close to buying this game, and I keep seeing all these messages saying, "Don't do it. This game sucks."
It's not the game. It's not the game. It is the way we have it set up is you have to play it much more simulated. You can't just arcade mode it. Like, if you're playing user versus user, you can arcade mode it because you're both playing. But the CPU on all Madden is gonna play tendencies. It's gonna play predictions. It's much more real life. So you have to set things up. And I saw the videos that I think Feem posted, and like there was a tackle that wasn't made. Like, well, that happens in real life. Also, you can't just run into them without pressing a button or flipping the toggle.
I did push the button. That's the issue.
So,
I was pushing the button.
Well, you know what? Broken tackles happen in real life where guys just arm tackle and the guy flies right by. And then your other one was the throwing one, and I've had plenty of those in my games where it's like, oh, he's wide open, lead him 2 yards too far. Like, son of a gun, I had it, and that's just that happens in the real world too. And so while people blame it's not.
Just like that. Jesus Christ, this game is so bad.
Well, you blame the game. Some of it is user because you can't just bullet pass it every time when you have a touch pass quarterback. Like, I have Stafford, he can't complete a bullet pass to save his life, but I give him an 85% pass, and dude hits helmets every time. So it's the same in the running game. If you hand the ball off and you immediately press R2 and put him in full sprint mode, he's not going to have any agility. He's like, he should have hit the hole. Why didn't he hit the hole? It's like, well, it's because your dumbass is holding sprint. You gotta put him in a better agile position. So some of it is user, some of it is getting accustomed to the game. Some of it is game, but I haven't seen where it's like guy goes flipping through the air and lands on his feet and keeps running, like those kind of glitches that were in the last game. That this one, I would say if you want to join. It's still fun. You're gonna frustrate yourself because of, once again, it's a consequence to your own playing style.
Yeah, it's awful.
It's awful.
Well, let's put it this way. My games are always an over under of around 25 to 30 points for both teams, like total. So I won my last game 13-6. The rest of the league was 35-21, 52-7, like ridiculous, like arcade numbers. And I'm like, okay, I see how they are playing the game, and someone's losing 52-7, meaning you're just air raiding this thing, pick here, crap, I keep falling behind, keep digging the hole. Versus me, I'm like, well, I'm 45 yards out, 4th and 2. I'm kicking this field goal. I'm going to take the points. Just continue to little pad lead, defense, hold, play the clock. All that matters is that I win the game, not how many points I score.
Just to kind of go back to A squared for a minute. Ryan, did you say something earlier about you're not? How do you feel about Talladega in Coda? I know you don't like Coda.
Oh my god.
But you normally do halfway decent, or actually pretty well. I'm looking back at all of the super speedways. You've at least led laps in almost all of them. I mean, your finish isn't always the greatest, but at the same time, you've probably been involved in the big one at the end, if I had to guess.
Yeah, I mean, my main thing for Sunday is obviously by the time I get to Detroit, if I get to Detroit in time, I've already told Kent, the admins, I won't be able to set up sessions for the next 2 or 3 weeks. But I mean, you got to think, we're going to have to leave Georgia at 5 a.m. Sunday. And that's if nothing goes wrong, her car doesn't have any issues, we don't stop for food, we don't stop to piss, nothing. It's almost a 12-hour drive. So if we leave at 5 a.m. Sunday morning, we get to Michigan at 5 p.m. Sunday night. And that's, again, like I said, no issues, no stopping, no anything, which we don't plan on really making a whole lot of stops. I'm also taking my dog with me, so we'll have
That'll
to
be a
stop.
couple of pit stops.
Yeah, we'll have to stop a couple times to let the dog piss and shit, so he didn't shit in the car. But yeah,
I was gonna say, are you coming? You're coming straight up 75, ain't you?
Yeah, it'll be straight up
You're coming through my neck of
75.
the woods.
Yep, straight up 75 all the way to whatever it turns into, like I think it's like Ohio, or maybe a little bit before that turns into some other road. But yeah, so I mean, even like I said, if we leave at 5 a.m. and that's early for me. I haven't gotten up at 5 a.m. in a long ass time, so.
God damn, man, I go to work at 4:45.
I know.
Like,
I know. I'm not used to it though, but yeah, I mean, I'm planning on leaving at 5 a.m. So hopefully we'll be there at 5 p.m. If we are, it's going to take me every bit of an hour to, get my stuff out of the car, and even then, I'll have to run. Even if I do make Talladega, I'll have to run it on Kenzie's rig, which is an older computer. It doesn't do well with the graphics. Especially at super speedways like I think y'all remember Daytona. I ran on her computer, and with 2 to go, I was running 10th, and we had the big one, and there was so much going on the racetrack that it actually it wasn't even the internet, it was just the computer, and the graphics was so overmaxed that it actually quit counting my laps, and I finished Daytona like 21st, 2 laps down. And I was actually in the top 10 coming to the start finish line when the whole field was just wrecking, just going everywhere. So I think I can get stage points, but as far as a finish, I really don't know. I have debated on doing a PC swap, so basically taking my new PC and just swapping it for her old one just for the night.
yeah, I was actually gonna ask you, if you're driving up there, why don't you just take your tower?
Yeah,
Just
I'm
hook your
taking.
tower to
So I'm taking my PC, I'm taking my rig, taking my wheel. So I'll have everything with me. It's just there's nowhere to put it right now.
okay.
She has a spare room, but it's got a lot of extra just shit that she, just been kind of keeping to the side, and either needs to be thrown away or sold or whatever. So the plan is to get that side room cleared out, and that's where my rig will be set up. But for the time being, like I said, if I can make it back to her house before the lobby, gets really going, it's a pretty quick just plug and play. I can unhook all of her cords from her computer, set my PC there, plug everything in. I'll have to I'll still have to use the Logitech, but I'm not really too much worried about that. It's really just the PC itself really struggles, especially on super speedways, because other tracks, we all get spread out. It doesn't put as much stress on an older computer, but at Talladega, you never get spread out. You're in a pack of 20 to 30 the entire time. So my plan is that if I can get there before the race starts, obviously that's if nothing goes wrong, we don't have any breakdowns on the way back, anything like that, is to take my PC, set it right beside her PC, unplug, everything that goes to her PC, plug it into mine, get it set up, get the wheel working, the Logitech working, and just run it on my computer. That way at least I have the better graphics card, and I'm at least able to hopefully make it to the end of a stage or the end of the race. So that's my plan right now, but we'll see how it works when Sunday comes around.
Yeah, I think well, hell, man. You come up through Cincinnati, just say, "Hey, I see your shitty city," and off to Detroit I go.
Yeah, I'll throw a hand up in the air and wave at you as I
Right.
go past your
Peace
exit.
out. Peace out, bitch. I'm
Yeah.
out.
Nope. Because we are not stopping. That's for sure. Like I said,
Yeah.
I mean, my dog's pretty. He's an older dog, but he can make it. He can make it every bit of 10 to 12 hours without having to go piss or shit. So we're gonna push him to his bladder limits on the way up to Michigan to try and get there before the race starts, because it is important to me. I mean, I do feel like I have a shot always at Talladega, and I mean everybody has a shot at Talladega, so I want to be there, and it's pretty much my last shot to get points and to get a win to potentially lock me in, because Charlotte Roval definitely not going to be my strong suit. I mean, I can probably get a top 12. That's probably all I can do there. So yeah, we're gonna see what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, I think I know Theme looks like from the results does really well at super speedways also.
Mm-hmm.
I just think, man, you gotta have more faith. You gotta have more motivation, man. Who cares? Who cares? At this point, I mean, I get tired of getting my ass kicked at super speedways, but you know what? I'm still gonna show up on Sunday and on Monday at Talladega, going, I'm gonna win this motherfucker. I'm gonna try.
Yep.
And if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't.
Well, that's my plan too, but I'm gonna be. I mean, like I said, I'll be on the road for 12 hours and be up early. Me and Kinsey are going to take shifts of driving, so, we'll both have the opportunity to take some naps on the way up there. But, yeah, I mean, I trust me, I'm going to be driving very, very differently, especially if I can get my PC hooked up in time to where I can see where everyone is. Yeah, you best believe I'm gonna be driving differently than I've probably ever driven before at a super speedway race. I'm gonna be up there in the front. I'm gonna try.
I don't blame you.
Get that win.
Here's the deal. My Monday league. I don't know if you see my Twitter post, but I was out of the playoffs. I missed out by 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
There was a penalty during that Bristol race, and the guy got kicked out of the playoffs, and I made it in.
Mm-hmm.
So I get in with an asterisk on my name.
Mm-hmm.
If it was in the rule book, it ain't an asterisk.
But as it was explained to me, guess what? You made a round of 12 that you weren't even supposed to be in. So come Talladega, you do the best that you can, possibly do. You go for broke.
Yeah.
If you wreck the race car, you wreck the race car. At least you threw everything at it, because this is your only shot. I mean, the guys over there are stupid fast, just like our front runners over here. Those guys are really fast. So I feel like you do. Whenever it comes to COTA, there's a guy who is like another Aiden Norman, except for I think he's faster. And as soon as he gets to a road course, it's over. Everyone's battling for second.
Yeah.
And so the only chance I have is Talladega. And it's like, you got to go for broke. If you want to go to the next round, you have to do what you got to do.
And that's what I'm going to do. I
don't blame you.
If I can be behind that wheel Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, you best believe, even with that Logitech, I'm going to be wheeling that thing. I'm going to be making moves that some people may not be happy with, but I'm going to make those moves because I have to.
Right. You have to.
As long as you don't do what Briley did on lap 1 of the 500 in February, well, you'll be all right.
Yeah, well, he wrecked me, I think, in that process. So.
Yeah, let me shove it in this half lane wide on the yellow line, lap 1. Like, where are you going, dude? We got 100 of these.
I'll at least wait till maybe lap 20 before I start. I mean, but I got to get stage points too. I mean, because I don't know. I don't know that I can win. I mean, I'm gonna try to win Talladega, but I don't know that I can. So I gotta be up front from the get-go, from qualifying, which luckily I usually qualify very well, at super speedways, and I'm even maybe hoping that I can get back in time to where I can kind of just rig my Fanatec wheel just for one race on this the setup that Kenzie has. The setup she has is it's capable of handling my Fanatec wheel, so I may even disengage the Logitech and put the Fanatec in its place, and because it's huge. I mean, Fanatec is huge on super speedways. I learned that the hard way when I was in Michigan and I ran the Daytona race. Dude, it's night and day between a Fanatec G923. Between a Logitech G923 and a Fanatec Direct Drive, a DD2. It's night and day when it comes to super speedways. So I'm gonna do what I got to do to try and get myself into the playoffs. But yeah, you'll see the 12 car either up front or it's gonna be upside down in the catch fence. That's all I can say.
Because of graphical issues, not because he wrecked.
Yeah, I won't be able to see it. I'll be like,
Yeah, he'll be doing it.
I didn't wreck.
Who's doing Who's doing jumping jacks down the backstretch? Well, that would be the 12 car. His lane is on top of the catch fence.
Well, if Theme was here, I would ask him this question, but since he's not and he's being lame, Ryan, how do you feel? I mean, I understand how you feel. I think, or I have a pretty good idea how you feel, but how does it feel? We're going into the second race of the round of 12, and we're fixing to go to the round of 8. What does it feel like? How do you feel about your journey to this point, like this season?
Man, I tell you, I honestly didn't think I'd get to the round of 12. I made the mistake of scheduling Darlington the same night that I was planning on going to the Georgia football game, and that falls 100% on me. If anybody ever says, well, you changed the schedule because it benefits you. No, I changed the schedule and it fucked me over. So, if anybody wants to argue on me with that, that's, I missed Darlington. And when I missed Darlington, I knew that it wasn't going to be easy to make it to the round of 12. Luckily, I say luckily. I mean, that's not how I wanted it to work, but Jeremy Brialt didn't show up, so he didn't get any points. He was out. Austin Purnell, told me he couldn't make it. He had some personal stuff going on Sunday night, so he was out. So that was two very, very fast, good drivers that basically forfeited their positions. So obviously, yeah, that helped me. But I knew after Darlington that, Kansas and Bristol, I had to get points. And I'm telling y'all, I drove the hell out of that car at Kansas. I drove the hell out of that car at Bristol. And, I did what I had to do to make it work. I mean, I barely got in on points. It's the hardest I've ever ran in my life to make it to the round of 12 in A squared. I mean, this is the 4th year that we've done this. The first 2 years we were on Xbox with Heat 4 and Heat 5. I think I made it to the round of 8 both times on Xbox. And then last year, I think I made it to the round of 12. Sour Patch Kids, hell yeah. This year, I almost didn't make the round of 16. It was tough even just to get to the round of 16 for me. So I knew that going into the round of 12 was going to be just as hard, and I knew I was going to miss Darlington right from the get-go, and obviously, missing an entire race. I mean, Matthew Leiter, loved the kid to death, but he started all 3 races, and I outpointed him in 2 races versus his 3 races. And that just shows that stage points are so damn important because I got stage points at Kansas. I finished very well at Kansas in both stages and had a decent finish at Kansas at the end. But I knew that the finish didn't really matter. It was those stage points that mattered. And I got those at Bristol too. And Leiter, unfortunately had a terrible race at Bristol. And I knew that was pretty much all I needed. Steven Oberstadt had a bad race at Bristol. And that's what got me to the round of 12. I had a terrible Texas race. It was probably the worst race I've had all year. I just wasn't ready. Wasn't ready for the setup. Wasn't ready for the track, and that was on me. But I gotta hope to be there at Talladega and just go out there and run as hard as I can because it's really the only shot I have at this point. I'm only 11 back, I think, or something like that. So, I mean, it's not, if I get really good points at Talladega, I'll have to do some serious practicing at Charlotte Roval. But, I'm not going to win. I'm not going to finish in the top 5. But even if I can just get some top 10 points, I'm clawing, just scratching and clawing to try and stay in there. And that's what I'm going to do. That's what I do in every series I run. I scratch and claw. If I go 2 down, I'm not parking it. I'm gonna stay out there. I'm gonna do what I can. TNT at Watkins Glen, I was just awful there too, and stayed out there. I got 2 more positions out of it. You can never quit. Just always scratch and claw until the checker flag flies.
Yep.
So we know in the real world that like if you're not winning races, you don't have a chance at probably getting to like round of 8, round of 4. In the sim world where there's a lot more, someone may not show up, a lot more variables of driver talent. Does consistency overpower the drivers that just win? So you're gonna have your like 1 or 2 that are gonna fill up spots in a round of playoffs that are gonna get them with wins because of raw speed. Your transfer into the next round, whether it's 12, 8, or 4, does consistency overpower the raw speed to fill in those last couple spots?
What do you think, Ryan?
I mean, I think it just. I mean, I think if you. Yeah, I think it can. I mean, I feel like I did. I feel like that's exactly what I did in the round of 16 going to the round of 12. I mean, again, it's a little unfair because, yeah, Jeremy probably could have showed up and easily gotten into the round of 12, but he didn't. And that's not my problem as a driver. My problem as a driver is to get as many points as I can. And
that goes to your consistency of showing up. That's exactly, just one of those consistency factors. That goes into the regular seasons. Like, you had 26 chances to win your way in based off of just one great race, or put 26 consistent races around 10th to 15th, and you sit there and you're, nope, I'm in the playoffs. Didn't win any races, but my name's on the board to go for this championship, and all I got to do is continue to be consistent and show up.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than like you take Tommy Reynolds, for example. Tommy Reynolds may finish, he may get, 30 stage points and finish 3rd in a race one week. And then the next week, he may get wrecked on lap 5, finish 15 laps down, get no points, and get, 15 points total, after everything. Where, that first race where he got 20 stage points and finished 5th. Maybe I finished, 9th or 10th, also got, maybe 5 or 6 stage points. So yeah, he outpointed me there. But then the next week, I do the same thing. Let's say I finish 9th and get, 5 or 6 stage points, and all he got was 15. Now I'm right there with him. So yeah, I've always been the one because it's just my driving style, and because I'm not going to win. I mean, unless it's just a fluke at Talladega or Daytona. I'm all for consistency, and that's what I have been able to do very well with. I mean, I made it into the playoffs. I made it into the round of 12. Consistency to me is way more important than having raw speed for 1 week and then the next week having raw speed and getting wrecked out and finishing 21st, out of 23. Consistency to me is key. Now, obviously, you get to the round of 4, consistency is probably not going to win you the championship, but it might get you to the round of 8, or it might even get you to the round of 4 if you are very consistent with your stage points and where you finish. Yeah, I think consistency is key over raw speed, but the problem with raw speed is they can fucking snap off a win like that, and then it doesn't matter anymore. But
yeah, and that's the variable that lives in real life too. It's like, man, this track loves this driver. It's not, or this driver loves this track, and it doesn't have nothing to do with all the equal cars out there. It's just this guy knows what to do, and can snap it off. But at the same time, they can get caught up in something, and your consistency finishes 4th, and the other 3 championship drivers had their issues, and consistency wins the day. So you never know, but one, showing up consistently, you're nearly guaranteed to be a playoff driver. Consistent, mid to average pack finishes, you're probably getting transfer spots into at least the round of 12. You up your game just a little bit, and stay consistent. Round of 8 is in sight, just based off of point status, and then the round of 4 is just that flip of the coin at the track you're at.
Well, I mean, let's look at it this way. If we look at the playoff grid right now, post Texas, you got Gaiman up front, obviously because he won, right? Michelle, Wanzing, Reynolds, and me. Okay, I'm 5th. If you look at stats, and I like doing this because this is fun. Top 5s, 17. I have the most top 5s all season. I have the most top 10s all season. But I have 1 win. I'm sitting 5th in the playoffs. I think consistency works for the regular season. That's how, I was able to be regular season champion, regardless if Tommy Reynolds missed 1 too many races. but I think in the playoffs, it's all about being fast. If you can't win a race and you can't be fast.
With the way it's set up right now, yes, because Ryan eliminated all those extra points you got. If we go to next year, your regular season championship points come along with you, and so you'd be in a better position. Add 15 points to where you're at now. You'd be in a better spot. Granted, everyone else would have a little bit of point bump too, but you're right. The way this system is, that first race is key to give yourself a buffer or to put yourself behind and know what you got to do going into the next 2 races. So while this year speed and raw jump out speed is probably the best, consistency still plays a little bit of factor, just on a much smaller scale, because you only get 3 chances. And if you screw one of those up, now you're in desperation mode.
Right. And, that's the issue. So, you miss one stage, finish 11th, finish 13th. Everyone else behind you gets points. It doesn't matter where you finish. You didn't get points. So now you got to start out pointing people. And if you can't do that, guess what? That regular season championship don't mean shit if you're not, in the final 4 or after, getting after wins.
Your regular season championship don't mean shit from the moment we started the round of 12, because you lost all those points,
right,
because of the reset. So now it's just a 3-race season. That's what you're going after. I mean, 3 guys had 5-point buffers because of what they did their round before, but 5 points ain't that much. That's it may save you at the end when you look at it, but it's not 15-20 point buffer from the regular season that could have been applied. But it's a 3-race season, and I think consistency is almost bigger than the raw speed, unless you have 3 drivers like Sunday Money did, where they just sent 3 drivers out for 3 straight races and took 3 spots up. If that happens in the round of 8, pointing your way in is probably less of the way to go than I need to be at the front and contending for the win.
Well, yeah, as soon as you hit the round of 8, I don't think
Yeah.
trying to point your way in is over.
I think it depends on who wins that first race. If a playoff driver, if one of the round of 8 wins the first race there, I think it's Vegas or whatever. It's that 1.5 mile round where there's a couple mile and a half in there.
Yeah,
But
Las Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville.
Yeah, so if you have a playoff driver win the Vegas race, then it lowers the need for point consistency and ups the need for I need to win. If a random wins it or a non-playoff driver wins it, then points are more lucrative than the wins because you just need to be in the top 4. So now you're racing to outpoint drivers. And obviously that changes with each race. If 2 playoff drivers win, there's only 2 spots left. You almost have to finish in the top 5 to point your way, but also be there to win the race there at Martinsville.
Yeah, I wish I was in the chat or in this earlier. I think Reynolds was talking about Sears. I was trying to figure out what he was talking about.
He said he dumped him at Texas.
Oh, did he?
He didn't.
Yeah,
Reynolds is one where it's not his fault until 5 people are like, it was your fault. Like,
well, even then he's gonna say no. But
yeah, but in that one, Sears was bottom line because I watched it happen. Sears was on the bottom, and Reynolds tried to clear himself down, got checked up or something, and it wasn't an egregious hit like he moved him out like an intentionally like get the hell out of my way. He cut down, came down, and it was one of those where the noses and bumpers were not lined up. It moved Reynolds back up, got him sideways. No wreck happened. It just disadvantaged both drivers by 5 to 10 spots. So
right. I mean, and
in the grand scheme of things, it was he could have just held the second lane and drove it off the corner and been clear of Sears, but he tried to drive it all the way to the bottom, and Sears was coming, and that's in there. So it was just a racing incident contact. I told Sears this in the post race. I was like, in the grand scheme of things, different things could happen. Reynolds could have held his line, not come down. You could have backed out a little bit. Neither chose those, and so the incident was almost deemed to happen. That so there were things that both drivers could have done differently to avoid this, but you're both racing hard, and sometimes racing hard is going to have these incidental moments. Now, do emotions take over? Yes, and that's why you got to have someone in there to be like, no, this just looks like you guys were going for the same real estate and racing incident. That doesn't curb anyone's emotions because, don't touch my car. It's like, okay, well, don't touch my car equals you shouldn't touch other people's cars either. So, can't play both sides of the fence here.
Well, what I was trying to say was I think, Sears kind of feels like Ryan does. He's been run over a lot. He's been involved in a lot of wrecks. And if I'm not mistaken, he did really well last season. And I'm pretty sure he did really well the season before that. Tom is fast. He's a great fuel saver. He's always, what they call him, lurking. He's always there.
Yeah. He needs the long run. He's the long run king.
But I think, people are starting to get aggravated now. We've had some drivers who know that they're fast, and they just move people out of the way because they know they're fast. They know they need to get around. They need to get up front.
Well, I'd say that
I can't speak for Tom, but I would say he's probably starting to get a little aggravated. He's been treated by some drivers, and there may be less lifting in the future, if I had to guess.
Yeah, maybe, and it could just be the tendency of we're getting down to the nitty gritty of your playoff chances and hopes are on the line, so people will overstep a line every now and then. But to go to I think it's a few, which means you can put them on less than your hand. But I watched Gaiman screw up twice in that race. He messed up a choose cone and drove from the back to the mid pack and almost to the front. Didn't touch anyone. Got loose off of 2, wrecked it down the back stretch. Didn't really involve anyone else, but brought the caution out. Go all the way back to the back, and then do it again and drive to the front. Where he did not. He didn't cause any issues coming through the field. Yes, he was faster by over 1/10 of a second for most of the race to the field, but he didn't move. He gradually worked his way up through the field, and so it is there it's in our driver pool that they can do it. It's just a matter of, are you okay if you can't get through everyone and pass everyone clean? Are you okay running 12th? Because I'll tell you, next year you're gonna have to. Yeah, next year you're gonna have to be okay running 12th, because if like Ryan has seen the influx of interest in racing, there may be a 30 to 36 car field out there, and 12th is going to be a good day on points if someone has a bad day with wrecking their car. So you gotta be okay, finishing 12th or 15th.
Well, and and it's like I said, it's a mentality. It's just, the younger guys, whenever they come in here and they know they're fast, it's all aggression. It's 100% aggression, all take, no give. Let's just get to the front and dominate this race. The older guys, I'm not that experienced in iRacing, but me being older, I think about saving my tires. Hey, let's be around at the end. Let's not do anything stupid. I just don't have that aggressive. I mean, I get yelled at a lot. Hey, man, you should probably be more aggressive. You probably finish a whole lot better. And it's like, yeah, but I also don't want to be aggressive, take myself out along with some other people who could have been battling for the win early in the race. So, I think it's just, game improved that you can go to the back more than once and drive back through the field if you have the patience for it. If you don't, it's not going to work in your favor and you're going to end up wrecked. So I don't, I think a lot of this stuff is just, it's the mentality. It's however you feel about racing.
Yeah.
I think Ryan is a very defensive type driver, and he gets caught up in a lot of bullshit because he's in that area of the field where a lot of dumb shit happens. And I don't know. Who knows, Ryan? I mean, you're fast as shit. Who knows? If you end up being more aggressive, maybe you'll be up front. Start running through people. And then just go, well, I got to get to the front.
I will tell you, I was very aggressive at Kansas and Bristol, and it worked out for me. So Texas, I wasn't even ready. I went into that race knowing I wasn't going to do well, and it showed. And I just didn't practice. I just didn't have time to. I had too much other shit going on, and I hate it, but it is what it is. I mean, I still got 17th, I think, out of the whole deal because other people quit and got wrecked and, weren't able to do. I mean, so there was like 21 people in the field, and I finished 17th, I think, which, for how I ran at Texas it's a godsend that I finished 17th. I mean, that was a terrible race for me. But Talladega has always been good to me. Charlotte Roval, actually, I know that track pretty well, so I feel like I can at least hang in the top 10, bottom of the top 10. But that's really all I got to do, especially if I get some really good points at Talladega. So.
And here's the reason why I don't totally believe you on your whole, like, I'm going to do terrible at the Roval. There is a guy on your team who is very fast and he's very good at road courses. I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
There's a lot of team conversation, I'm sure, to figure out what he knows, how he knows it, how he does it. and I'm pretty sure you're gonna magically find some speed,
Yep.
and you're gonna be better than normal. So I'm not falling for it.
We're gonna try. We're gonna get all the help we can
Well,
get for sure.
he would use the wall a little bit sometimes more than, but back then you couldn't hurt the cars. They were tanks at that point, so he could rough up the quarter panels. I think now, you make a mistake coming out of the infield section and you grab that right side wall, like you could be bending toe links and killing your race. When going through there. So I think the Roval is going to present a few more opportunities for not the fastest driver, but the most consistent in lap time and clean, like in non-incident points, even 0X's. Um, going and winning that race just because someone's going to knock themselves out by knocking the wall down on the exit of one of these corners.
Right, like I said, I hit the wall
Even the
Florida,
turtles,
Texas, and I had a minute of damage, and I didn't even hit it that hard.
Yeah. I think the turtles also are going to play a factor because I think if I'm correct, you can break your right front or left front on those turtles with the way if you hit them head on, you're going to give yourself some sort of suspension damage. So how aggressive you take for maximum lap time could be to the detriment of the end result.
So I know it's definitely possible. My a teammate of mine outside of ARCS actually broke a toe link at Watkins Glen in the bus stop.
Mm-hmm.
The wildest thing I've ever seen. I was right behind him whenever it happened, and all he did was just hit the bumps. I mean, he really didn't even. He wasn't very aggressive. He did hit a lot of the rumble strips, and as soon as he ran through the bus stop, that car shot one way, and he's like, "I think I just broke a toe link," and I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here!" No, you didn't. And he's like, "Yeah," and sure as shit, he broke a toe link at Watkins Glen. It's still the wildest thing ever.
I think the new damage model too has a progressive scale. So if you can do minimal damage repeatedly, and then it takes less to break that area of the car. If you did, I've been doing this all day. It's been fine. It's like, yeah, but it's been causing like micro fractures, and then all of a sudden those micro fractures gave way and it turned into an actual break, even though you didn't do anything
Well, that was happening
out
at
of the
Phoenix.
ordinary.
That was happening at Phoenix, I believe. If you would come off the oval and go down, cut the dog leg.
Yep.
I don't remember when that was. That might have been a couple of updates ago, but you would literally get a couple of seconds of optional every time that you did it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're killing the front valence.
Oh yeah, as soon as it would smack the ground, you'd do that for an entire stint, and an entire stage, and you went down pit road, and all of a sudden you've got 25 seconds of optional, and you're like, what the hell? I didn't hit anything. Yeah, you've been bouncing off the dog leg.
That's why we watched the Phoenix race in real life. Other than the restarts, those guys stay up on the track for the most part, unless they've got like a hellish run, and then they take the shortcut to beat them into turn one. But for the most part, they stay up on at least the banked areas of the track and the apron. There's like one lane of extra banking still there through that dog leg, but very rarely you see the guys just haul butt down into the dog leg and cut it every lap because they know the left front valence, the undercarriage, the strikes in the back are just grinding the ground every time they land that car on that flat.
Yeah, I think what do you so I don't we need to end this here soon, I'm sure.
Yeah.
My last question would be, where do you see yourself, Ryan? Are you making it out of the round of 12? And if you do you think if you're able to make it out of the round of 12, do you think you can go for a championship, or do you think this is pretty much where you stop?
I mean, if I make it out of this round, it really comes down to Talladega for me. Charlotte Roval again. Yeah, I'll get my teammates' feedback, and I'll be a lot faster than I think a lot of people will think that I'm capable of it at the Roval. But it won't be a victory. It won't be, top 5. I think it'll be. I think I can compete for a top 10. I really do. And get top 10 stage points as well.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll go past top 10. So it really comes down to Sunday at Talladega for me. If I can get, if I can win a stage and get, some 10, but I mean, because I'm only 11 down, I think right now. I'm not able to look at the playoff points, but I think I'm 11 down right now. If I win a stage, that's 10 points right there. And then, in a second stage, if I can come home, third or fourth, that's, you're looking at 17 points right there. That's huge.
Yeah, it's saying you're 11 down on the playoff grid.
So I'm pretty much committed to try and win a stage, if not win both of them. And then, once you win 2 stages, that's 20 points. You really, at that point, as long as you finish in the top 10, you're going to have a damn good points day. So, but I think I could win Talladega too. I'm very good at restrictor plate races. That's where I've gotten a lot of my wins. I won the season opener with SNS at Daytona. I've won several races in TNT, in the A squared, even the All Star race when we did iRacing Super Speedway. I won that one. So I am good at super speedways. I'm there usually. So Talladega is going to be the biggest thing, and then if I can get in based off Talladega, whether it's a win or just setting myself up to really just be consistent at the Charlotte Roval, I do think that I can compete. Martinsville will be my Achilles heel in the next round. I mean, no doubt about it. But Las Vegas, I love Las Vegas. It's a great track. Homestead, I have experience already running with HTL. Obviously, that setup, we won't be using that setup, so it'll be a little bit different. But, I love Homestead. I actually have an A squared win when we were back on Xbox, which I know it's not the same thing, but, when we ran A squared on NASCAR Heat 5, I won Homestead. And I've always loved Homestead. So I think those 2 tracks, I really will have some speed. Martinsville, not at all. I have not, I've never been able to figure out Martinsville. Going back to Heat 4, Heat 5, iRacing, it's just not a track that I am good at. It's not a track that I enjoy. But if I get a good finish in Las Vegas and Homestead with some stage points, Martinsville may not be that big of a deal. It just all depends on who wins those 2 races. So yeah, I think it's all kind of up in the air. But for me, Sunday night at Talladega is going to be the biggest test for me and my team. If we can win that thing, obviously we'll be golden. If not, we're gonna just try and have to get points and try and get to the round of 8. If we can get to the round of 8, I do feel good. But I just gotta be, I gotta put in some practice. It's something that I haven't done. The last time I really put in a lot of practice was at Nashville, when I was very, very fast at Nashville, until I got wrecked. And I think I put in some practice the next week as well, and I think I finished like 3rd or 4th. So I just unfortunately haven't had the opportunity to practice because I've had, other stuff going on personally that I just haven't been able to practice. But yeah, you bet your sweet ass if I get a good finish at Talladega and get some points, I'll be putting in some practice at Charlotte Roval, and same with the round of 8. I mean, I'm one that I'll commit to practicing and trying to get faster, and asking my teammates, and not even just teammates, but sometimes I'll even ask competitors like, hey, do you want to come run a few laps with me? Like, I want to see what you're doing. Maybe you could see what I'm doing. Like, maybe between the 2 of us, we can, maybe you'll pick something up and maybe I'll pick something up. Like, I'm always willing to learn. I'm always willing to share, I don't always have the best. I'm not always the fastest, but maybe one thing that I do is I save tires really well. I'm very good at saving fuel, and saving fuel and saving tires, and that's something that TNT. I finished second in TNT a couple weeks ago at Kentucky, and that was all from saving fuel and saving tires. And some people can't do that, and I've just been blessed to be very good at doing that all the way back to NASCAR Heat 4. I've been very good at saving tires and saving fuel, and it's helped me out in a couple races. Obviously at Talladega, that's not really gonna, it's not gonna help you out there. But Las Vegas, Homestead, both of those tracks, you can save tires and save fuel, and potentially be up there and win a race, just on that strategy. So yeah, I'll be doing a lot of practicing, but really it all comes down to Sunday night at Talladega. If we have a bad race there, it's gonna be tough to recover from that.
All right, well, you know, we'll head on. Well, tomorrow we have Bristol
Bristol TNT.
TNT.
Yep.
So
That'll
we
be
go
fun.
from one extreme to the other.
Yep.
I've never driven a Gen 4 car at Bristol, so that's going to be interesting and new.
Don't even think about putting the throttle down.
Mhm.
Just get the car straight and give it half throttle, and then by then you got to lift again.
So, and that's what I was getting ready to ask you. So I remember when in my tryout to be in TNT, we were at Martinsville,
Yep.
and the car was actually really comfortable there. I mean, you and I, we were going back and forth for like the fastest time or whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
And the car was really comfortable there. I was
Yeah.
not expecting it to be comfortable. Like I thought I would be in the grandstands.
Yeah.
So, is it going to be like that, or is it just going to be a pedal fest?
It's a tire. You gotta save the tire, the right sides, and your rears, because if you gas up out of those corners, those elevation changes, you're gonna get loose out of the back end, and also after a while, you grease those things up on a concrete track. Concrete don't stick like it does on asphalt, and so you'll see a lot more tail slapping and people losing it to the inside, and then the people that are fast early are going to slow down a ton because they burn off the right front and can't turn. The car won't turn anymore, and then they're trying to turn it with the rears, and then the rears get greasy, and then their lap times just continue to fall. So it's kind of like Martinsville, where it's how you get off corners more than how you get into corners.
It'll be
Okay.
way better than Watkins Glen. I promise you that, because Watkins Glen was
I
awful. I mean,
yeah, that was bad.
I'm not good at road courses. I'm never really being good at road courses, but that race was awful. Like I felt like I couldn't
Yeah.
even hit the gas. Like it was just like I'd hit the gas going through the S's, and that sumbitch was just like, oh, we're spinning out this way. Okay, we got it. Oh, now we're spinning out this way. All right, we got it. Now we're going to the bus stop. Oh shit, you missed your. I mean, it was. That car was rough at Watkins Glen. I don't.
Yeah.
I think I did a Gen 4 at Watkins Glen, and I was short shifting. I'd second gear it into one, short shift to get to third before I got to the S's, just so I had power in the rear tires, but not over RPM power that would just spin the dang thing. So then I would lose time in the S's, but my car was safe. Like I could control the darn thing, and then I'd watch someone else come through there and I'd be like, yeah, you're a second faster through the S's. I think there's something fishy going on here.
I almost wonder if when they updated this Gen 4 car, if maybe they forgot to fully update the road course setups. And that's just me. I mean, and I know Aiden Norman and Noah Belleville were, they were whipping around Watkins Glen Thursday night like there was no tomorrow. Like, and good for them. But the rest of us were struggling, because I saw everybody struggling coming through the S's. I mean, I wasn't fast, but I saw other people just struggling coming through the
Yeah.
S's, coming out of the bus stop, just sideways. You know, it makes me wonder, like, did they really update this setup, or is this setup for the ARCA car and they just added all this horsepower and didn't change anything? Like, because I do feel like the Gen 4 cars at oval tracks, I love it. I mean, yeah, they're a little loose because they got that horsepower, but you can throttle it a little bit, and you can feather that throttle and kind of get that thing to get a good run off the corner. But for me personally, at the road course, I just could not figure it out. I don't know. I don't know if Aiden and Noah maybe turned their throttle input down to like 50%. So, you know, when they were full throttle, they were actually 50%. Like, I've thought about doing that at road courses before. Like, you know, I mean, hell, I'm never full throttle. Like, why don't I just, you know, go back to like 50% throttle on my input, and maybe I'll be faster. I don't know, but I think Bristol will be a good race. I'm gonna run some practice laps and try and, you know, be competitive tomorrow night.
I'm sure I'll show up with 5 minutes left in qualifying, or like 2 minutes left in qualifying, and
that's the best way to do it. You know, just
I'm
show
just
up,
gonna wing it like
just
normal.
show up, wing it, you know, and just let everybody in front of you wreck, and everything will be fine.
That's what's so funny, man. Is this TNT for me is out of my norm. I mean, it's a car that I've never raced, at least you know, in a league or in any sort of race. I've always practiced with it, but I haven't really run anything. And I normally practice all my races that I'm in. To some degree, I practice, you know, 10 to 500 laps, and I have literally not put in any practice for this because my Thursdays are always taken up with my little boy's football practice. So I'm in another state. I drive as fast as I can, 40 minutes back to my house to hurry up, turn the computer on, get iRacing loaded up, get my wheel turned on, and hopefully I have the racetrack by the time the lobby closes.
Yep.
So I'm like, you know, even Aiden was like, where we raced at Legacy, Texas. I got in my house, turned the computer on, went to load in the session, realized I didn't have Legacy, Texas. I had to buy the track, and then it didn't update. So I'm panic hitting the update button, trying to get it to update. I made it in to run my 1 lap of qualifying, and that was the only lap I'd ever turn on that track. I think I qualified like 14th. And then I come in, and what did I finish? Like 3rd, 4th?
Yeah, you were up there.
Something like that. And I was like, holy shit. And Nathan was like, wait, you for real didn't run any laps? I'm like, no. I was like, I just bought it. I just bought the track. My first lap on track was the 1 lap of qualifying I had.
Yep.
So it's like, you know, but then Watkins Glen, it was a shit show, like you said. So
yeah, it was rough, but yeah, I mean, TNT is all about consistency because it's usually, you know, for the most part, it's green flag runs, you know, so you gotta be fast, but also conserve your tires, conserve your fuel, because if you can push it, you know, 5 laps further on fuel, you might make it to the end when everybody else doesn't. I mean, like I said, that's when we took the green flag at Kentucky, I knew in my head, I already had the math worked out. If I can save 2 laps each run, I can make it to the end. And that's exactly what I did. I saved 2 laps, and that last run, I was about half a lap short, so I backed off just a little bit. Toby started catching me for second, so I started pushing, and then I backed off again, and then Toby backed off because he was saving too, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got it. I got it now. He's saving. I don't have to save anymore. It's a done deal. So yeah, that's what I love about TNT is the strategy. It's awesome to to play that strategy. But there will definitely be some strategy tomorrow night when we go to Bristol. That's for sure.
I definitely honestly believed I would be doing a whole lot worse than what I am. I mean, I've missed 1 race, and it says that I'm back in 4th in points. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, are you for real?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've missed like 2 races, and I think I'm like 13th or 12th or something. I don't remember, but yeah, I mean it's fun to race TNT. You expect
It's
long
different, yeah.
runs. Yeah, I mean that's just what TNT is, and SNS and A squared, you kind of expect more cautions. You got your stages. TNT doesn't have the stages, so it's a whole different outlook on racing altogether, to be honest.
Yeah, it's like I feel like I'm really relaxed in TNT because I'm not really expecting much. Because like I
Yeah.
said, my experience with the car, I literally don't have any.
Mhm.
So but the problem is that I'm a naturally competitive person. So I've entered a
Same.
league, I've entered a series, and now I'm like, well, I need to do good.
Yeah, I want to win.
And then I'm like, well, how the hell am I going to do good if I don't do any practice?
Yeah.
Where's the damn time for the practice? Like,
Exactly.
fuck. So, but anyway, if you're ready, I need to get my old ass to bed.
Yeah, let's wrap this thing up. Feemster's not here, so fuck him. I guess
Fucking lame.
he's got a big boy job now. So appreciate everybody that did tune in and comment. Thank you, Feder Place and Kent, for coming out. Reynolds left us. Feem
Lame.
left us. So it's just us 3 left here at 10:30 Eastern time. But we'll try and have another one next week. Don't know that I'll be a part of it because I'll be in Michigan next week. So still.
You got a cell phone, don't be a shithead.
I might have a cell phone, but I won't be able to go live for y'all.
Yeah,
Ken can go live on his YouTube channel.
I can't, dude, I got like target fixation on his cone on his headset flopping around while he talks.
I know.
Yeah, dude,
It's
distracting as fuck.
It is
Anyway.
very annoying. If anybody,
I can't hear you. It's going the wrong way.
Yeah, the dude makes $150,000 playing baseball in Taiwan, and he can't afford a headset. So.
I know that's like fucking Reynolds spending all this money on football, but
Yeah.
he can't afford a fucking camera. Like, get out of here, dude.
He's betting $100 on a 17-leg parlay, and he can't afford a camera.
Dog.
To be fair, I think he did buy a camera tonight before you got on. Before we went live, he did order a camera. He ordered it through his mom's Amazon, so he had to leave real quick. He was like, he was like, oh shit, I'll be right back, and he muted himself and he left. So he probably had to go tell his mom, like, hey, I just ordered this $20 camera on your Amazon account.
Don't kill me, I'll go mow
yeah,
the lawn
yeah.
for it.
He could have went to Walmart and threw a $20 bill on the counter, but
Yeah.
I don't want to go anywhere. What are you talking about? Me drive? What? No, someone can bring it to me.
He does drive like a 91 Camaro, so it's probably not very reliable. So that's right, Reynolds. I'm calling you out about your shitty ass Chevrolet Camaro.
Go get a Toyota Camry and use that for the rest of your life because it never breaks.
Yeah.
One of them.
Yeah,
get
a Toyota Camry race car.
Or buy a real vehicle like a truck and a Chevy truck, and you can drive those for 7,800, 900 million miles.
Yeah. He can't
afford
I got a truck.
I got an old Chevy Silverado 2500 HD out there in the parking lot. You can go ahead and buy it.
Mm-hmm.
It needs a good home. Instead of sitting in my parking lot.
He did tell me right when the podcast started, before both of y'all came on here, that because Cody said, because I'm leaving my Mustang here in Georgia until I can ship it to Michigan, and Cody was like, "Well, I'm not driving that sumbitch 12 hours. You're crazy as hell." But Cody said, "Oh, you're leaving the Mustang behind?" with the like frowny face, and I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I'm not driving that thing 12 hours to Michigan. No, not gonna do it." And then Reynolds said, "I'll buy it for $1,500, and I'm like, "You're fucking high as hell." I'm like,
he's like, that's a monthly payment.
Yeah.
He can't buy a fucking $15 camera. By God, he'll buy that Mustang. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, that thing's a 2013 with only 145,000 miles. That thing's worth at least $15,000.
And this is why they need to put money marketing into high school again. Learn how your money works.
Exactly. And on that, we're gonna fucking end this podcast because we've been going for over 2 hours. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you all for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
Yep, we'll have another one hopefully next week sometime. We'll work out the details. Hopefully we have some more drama happen before then. This one was kind of boring. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it's because we waited till fucking Wednesday to do it. I was been trying to get you assholes on here ever since, that race happened, or even Bristol.
Yeah, I know.
That's the funny thing. It's like, wow, we got to clean up our racing. Man, we didn't have nothing to talk about.
Right.
How's that top of the fence feel on your nutsack? Come on now.
Exactly. I want to yell at somebody. I want to be pissed off, but I can't be because nothing happened. Like, what the hell?
I think it did happen. We just done forgot about it.
Probably.
A couple of days later.
I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. So, yeah, let's do something crazy this week so that we can talk about it next week on the podcast. Somebody do something crazy. Austin Mongold, I'm talking to you. You usually do some really stupid shit.
Don't worry, Lighter's gonna do something dumb. I'm sure Mongold's
Lighter's coming back. Lighter will be back for Talladega.
There you go.
He wasn't at Texas, so we didn't have him. So that's a thought. Awesome Mongold. You'll have Patrick Oberstadt out there in the 41.
Oh, I can't wait. I hope he drives in front of me again for fucking
Steven
most of the
Oberstadt, him and his brother are the Super Speedway Kings. They'll be out there trying to get that victory. So, yeah, I think the next podcast will be a good one.
All right.
All right. We will talk to y'all later. We were here way too long, but here we are. So, we're gonna close this thing out and